half-assed Daily Decembear. Hi, I'm Tommy, and this is Half-Assed Daily Decembear. My guest today is Edgar Rodriguez.
Hello.
So he's the first guest I've had in the studio.
Nice to be here. That's nice. Thank you for having me.
If you've been paying attention at home, then you'll know that all the people I've interviewed have not been local. And I asked you initially because you were living in Veracruz, Mexico.
Yes.
So tell us about you're living there part-time and here part-time?
Yes, I have a home, hovel, I think it's called, a very small home that used to be a flour mill in Mexico. They have a thing called maseca, and it's like the mill where they make masa, where you make tortillas, or they'll sell tortillas as well. So the local mill upgraded, so they left an abandoned mill. And I bought it several years ago, and I kind of transformed it into a workspace. Because it was basically two large kind of areas where machinery had been. So I focused on one area as a living space and another area as a workspace. Because it was really... And my mother was born there. My eldest aunt, who helped raise me, lives there still. I have family connections there still, even though... at times, those are still distant. The whole context of working, or the whole experience of working in that context is very much, very different than working in where I'm staying now. I work and live in Arlington, Texas now, so that's a whole different situation, which I'm able to work on a bigger scale. Access to materials is so much easier.
So what kind of work do you do?
Mixed media, visual artwork, some conceptual work. I have a website, but that's usually, it's just a portfolio, and I just document pieces that I've shown publicly. So now I've been working for the last year or so on a new collection with the mindset of having a show already in mind, you know, like planning another solo show, because my last solo show was in Bangalore 4 years ago. But I lived in India 2 years ago, and I did a series of street works, like installations. I did a lot of portraits, and my new series has a lot to do with classism and all these concepts of glorification of the marginalized and exploitation, but the recognition of the exploited, and me being a part of that as well, you know, and taking an active part in the exploitation of all this business, which is definitely, I want to explore the ethics side of contemporary postmodern ideas about art and, you know, whatever.
Okay, wow.
My father was an artist as well, and he's an outsider artist as well, which to me, and these days, outsider art in general means artists who are either mad, untrained, that means they didn't go to school. And I find that in the United States, that is more of a barrier than in India or than in Mexico. Basically, I only know India and Mexico, right? And I was supposed to go to Guatemala. I was supposed to be in Guatemala, actually, right now. But I decided to stay in the U.S. and continue the two pieces that I'm working on now, because I feel like I'm at a juncture with these pieces that I need to kind of complete them. It's kind of like fucking, you know, like you're almost there, and you could see it forming, and I don't want to walk away from it right at this point. And the subject matter is kind of about fucking too, but that's neither here nor there, really. It's not really the main point of the work is not about fucking. But.
So, what kind of patrons is this work for?
That's another part I was thinking about, the role of my work in a capitalist kind of in the market now. You know what I mean? And what it is to be an artist in this society, as what it is to be an outsider artist. And basically it's to find private funding or public funding, right? Applying for grants or residencies, things like this, but I've had limited, success in the past. But to be an artist is to be many things, it's to be a racehorse, because people who buy your art, they believe it's going to grow in value, so that way they are betting on you, but the artist never wins because it grows in value only after you die. This kind of concept, this kind of pessimistic view of the market or whatever, but there are the exceptions. But I view it as, I've been viewing it for the last several years as like I am able to right now continue my work in a manner that's not influenced by the demand of the market or any one particular patron that is demanding a certain subject matter. And whereas before I think my work was very bitter or very I was kind of mad about this fact. I think I remember making a piece that was sold, actually, that I sold it to someone that was like pharmaceutical leaflets, psychopharma leaflets, and it was all like collage, and it says, warm yourself with this shit, you fucking asshole, just like eat this, you fucking, or whatever, and I sold it, and I was like, and my work is definitely not like that anymore, and it's not that I don't have this like sensibility of like how to square that circle of the prostitution. That's how I say, like, artists are also prostitutes. Like how to create this sensibility or create this aesthetic through your life and have it the most truest form. I don't want to talk about truth with a capital T, but this most representative form of my aesthetic or the most sturdiest construction of posterity that I can do or can pull off, or the biggest pieces I can make or whatever. And this kind of, I can't circle that square, but at the same time I have been taking initiative to show more publicly, if not through galleries, than what I've been doing in Mexico in the streets of Monterrey, which I love. Which brings me most joy is the unexpected, to have something that's unexpected. So to have, I spend most of my time in Villa San Angel, which is a very, very poor side of Monterrey. The poorest sides of Monterrey are up on the mountains, and it's a very like concrete Monterrey. I love this city. It's the aesthetic, this like post-apocalyptic, post-industrial kind of concrete factory city, where everything is like an oven when it's hot and it's really bitterly cold when it's cold, and the birds live in, which reminds me of my brother, but if the birds live in the holes in the concrete blocks, so they make holes there, and these kinds of little bits of beauty or whatever are what I find kind of life kind of finding its way. I think those places I find most joyous when I see a piece of work that's really good or that's transcending its surroundings or expectations or anything like that. So I really enjoy doing work in those areas, and also in areas in India but it becomes more and more challenging the further away you go from the centers of culture, and I think India is a really good example of that, where I had to either lie or bribe, or where people get upset because they don't understand what party it's for or what role it's playing, and they want it to stop because they view it as a threat, and I either have to lie and say that it's for whatever they want, or say that it's for something else. Or I've actually been hired for projects, and then in the end not been able to do what I want to do. It turned into a beautification project, which I did in the Himalaya, actually. But are we still doing?
One of the cameras stopped, so do you want to start wrapping up, and
Sure.
we'll conclude, because that means I ran out of disk space, evidently.
Yeah. So thank you for having me over and talking shit a little bit about my work. It's
Thanks
nice.
for coming.
It's nice to talk about it. It's a very isolating thing. You work and work and work in a dark room.
Well, so how can people find you?
My website is ERG Firma, Firma design .com. And
So send me that link. So.
Yeah, and my email is the same at iCloud.com. ERG Firma design at
Okay.
But yeah.
Very good. And so I'll link to that in the description for the show. And if are there a couple of pictures I can use in the video to punctuate whatever you're talking
Sure,
about?
anything off my website because that's was shown in my public. Publicly.
Very good. So if you've been watching, give this video a thumbs up. And if you're not already, hit that subscribe button. And until tomorrow, we'll have another Daily Decembear.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.